welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do a lake, sort of, or a gully with a water running through it. So I've mixed up some greens, which is cobalt green, cobalt teal and cerulean, because this is water that comes from high up. It's glacier water. And just want to, I'm sort of making this up from a picture that I have where I have been, and there are rocks and things here, so I'm sort of making it up as I go along. So I'm going to put that up there. This is a little darker, so this is painting wet in wet. Got some dark, really dark in here. This is going to be the bank, the edge, and then this is the lighter side. So I really want nice, juicy, and I'll just pull that to there and then bring it round like that. Okay, that's all I want to do with that for now. This might be a time when I have to dry it off as we go, but we'll see. Okay, now I'm going to put the sky in a sort of a V here. So I'm going to use some cobalt blue. It's going to be a mountain there, and then a sweep up there. I don't want this too dark. Sort of want this, and then there's going to be some trees there. And some trees there, and I may just pull that down there and through there, because the trees can be painted over that. So just gently. Right, that brush is now becoming too large. Put it aside. Get my smaller brush. Okay, I don't want these hard edges, so I just wipe some clean water along them. Don't really want that hard edge. So now I think I've got too much. I'm just going to bring that down. This water is a little, this is a little bit toned, so we're taking away some of the... I'm thinking about this, do I need that? Maybe if I do, it needs to come further in. Yes, I think I will. So I'll just pull that out with a... That's the edge, that's going to be the edge of a rock. I think I do want that, otherwise it's going to look very symmetrical. Okay, I am going to dry this, so I'll be back. 2 ticks. Okay, so now we've got some trees in here, we've got a mountain there, some trees here, some rocks along here, and a rock here. So I'm going to use cadmium yellow and yellow ochre for the lights. Doesn't look very green, but I sort of don't want the green too much at the minute, so I'm just going to lay in a wash. This is a bit experimental because I haven't ever painted this before. Sometimes I paint the things that I paint on video before, because then you know what the pitfalls are. But this is kind of live, so we'll see what happens. Of course, if it's a complete disaster, I just won't post it. But cobalt blue, make this a little bit in the shadow, bit of shadow there, bit of ultramarine blue really darkens it off, bit of shadow. Got the upright feeling, got some light there, got some, I think we're going to put a tiny bit of, ooh, don't you just love that purple, dioxazine purple. Well, I know what we'll do, we'll just knock that back a bit and keep going. A little bit of course it will knock the green out because it's complementary, but that's okay. Look, we can just fiddle it in. Bit more tree idea. You just need to, your eye will make trees out of this. Bit of burnt sienna. Yellow ochre. Quite nice. And a little bit of dark there. Dark there. Okay. Probably what I should have done is put some hills in the background first, but we can show that, and that's quite nice. They don't need to be quite so regular. They can be a bit stronger. Quite like that. This does join up through here. Some more trees. That's the end of the valley. These are rocks, so maybe get some grungy colour and put them in here, right from the edge. And this is a rock, but this is in shadow, so a bit of that purpley grey. Put that in there. And a bit of all the colours from your palette, purpley grey, lots of, just put that through there. That's quite nice. Quite like that. Yeah. Now there's a shadow, so we want some of this purpley, dirty grey to drop down from there. So, probably better if I do it by the side, and then we want a bit of that dropping down to there, so that we've got some shadow. Then these guys on the right hand side, these are reflecting, but because the water's so blue, the blue is taking over. Just beautiful. Okay, we don't want all these brights, so just take some water. There, I quite like that. Now the sky, taking a bit of cobalt, very watery. Want a little bit of that cobalt blue to reflect in here. But I'm wetting this, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to pick it up with a tissue. See how it's just lightening it a little? Because I want that feeling that the sky is, that the light is bouncing off there. So I want a little bit more darker there for that reflection, and then I wanted this light here. So could even just take clean water dab it off there. Nice. Okay, this is a very strong line, but we're going to come back on this side with some yellow ochre and some cobalt blue. Yellow ochre, cobalt blue, cad yellow. There we go. It's actually, it was too yellow ochre-y. It's sort of a dull green, but it'll be just fine. So we just want to put the idea of some tree forms. And these are kind of bushy things going on here. A bit more upright there. This might look a bit harsh, but we're going to, a bit more yellow ochre for the edge. We're going to not have all these really hard lines. A bit more yellow ochre through there. Right at the top too. You can pick the paint right up off the palette and just pop it in like that. Bit of yellow ochre along here. See how the yellow ochre and that teal green just hum, they're gorgeous. Okay, we don't really want that hard edge, so we'll just soften that a bit. Soften these, take this out to the edge. Soften, soften. And then that one there we just pick up. We don't want hard edge there. A few's fine. Okay, there's a sort of a line in the rock. We could indicate that through here to lead our eye back. And again, maybe just clean up the edge. Maybe just a hint there. I don't really like too much of that line there. That's quite good, that's quite subtle now. Going in with a bit more teal, I think. I just sort of feel I want it teal here. Bit more teal over this too. That's better. Bit more teal here. Just love that teal against the yellow ochre side. There we go. Soften that in. Maybe a bit of, ooh, there we go, popping out. Cobalt green in here, just to darken it a little bit. Not too much because we'll start getting a bit muddy. So we'll stop there. Quite like that. So we've got some light on the water, we've got some, we will go back in with a little bit more dark. Now there is a sort of a mountain there, so I'm going to take a tiny bit. You can see, I mean, this is a wild colour, is it not? It's dioxazine, jolly violet or purple or whatever, so knock it back with a bit of cobalt blue, and not too wet. We're just going to put in the distant hill. I might be doing this back to front, but it's okay. There we go. Distant hill, sky, a little bit more blue here. Nice. Okay, so now we need some darks just to anchor all these parts together. So I'm going to dry this and then we're going to come in and put one more layer on, which will be our darks, and hopefully meld all this together. Okay, this is pretty much dry, not 100%, but it's dry enough. And so now, as I said, I was going to go back in. I'm going to use my reservoir brush. I'm going to get some burnt sienna, put it into this tray here with a bit of cobalt blue, burnt sienna. Make this sort of darkish greyish colour. Maybe, oh, I'm so, this, and it was literally, it's literally just hardly anything, but it's a little bit of the dioxazine purple. Okay, I wanted a little bit, so it's a dark grey, let's just call it a dark grey. So I'm going to put this dark grey in for the shadows, and hopefully this is going to start pulling this piece together. I wanted a little bit more purple than that. And the reason I wanted a little bit more purple than that is because the purple will play against the green, because it's a complementary. So I know I've got hard edges, don't worry, I'm going to come back and soften them. But now you're sort of drawing, you do want to soften these edges. You want clean water on your brush, but not so much that you're going to make blooms. There's a little line there. Our dark purpley comes round here, and it can make the shape of some of these rocks round the edge, down in the, that's sort of makes it look underwater. Soften some of the edges. Do a lot of softening of edges. You don't want too many hard edges. That's fine, that's descriptive. Okay, tiny bit of, see how, I mean, I barely put my brush in, it's just a ridiculous colour, but there we go. It's what we've got. So a bit of burnt sienna to beat it back into submission. And just sort of drawing a few sort of descriptive lines that might suggest direction, and also bushes and things like that. Okay, enough fiddling, Catherine. Take a slightly wetter wash of that and just push some of those, push that tree back a bit. You're just sort of drawing a few negative shapes which are going to suggest the trees. Gently ease off the edges. There we are. Take a bit of that greeny colour, I think. Pop it in there. Ease off the edges. Alright. Not too bad. Maybe a little darker there. A little bluer. That's better. Okay, this side. So the same thing. Make a greyish wash, bit of burnt sienna, cobalt blue, purpley colour, burnt sienna, probably more burnt sienna and cobalt blue this side. Make it fairly wet, maybe use that tray as well. Okay, there's a bit of a shadow here in the trees, and then sort of shadowy things. And these are more sort of bushy. These were more upright. These are more sort of bushy, random. Okay, that looks like blobs, but we're just going to go through and ease it all off. So that it doesn't jump out too much, just ease, ease, ease. Very delicate, very light, very subtle, not too blobby. And your eye will read that as a mass of sort of foliage and whatnot. I might just use a little bit more ochre, get some sort of ochre with a bit of yellow in it, a bit of brightness for the sunshine, and put that, maybe just go quite yellow. Yeah, just wanted to bring that through there, bring a bit of it through here, just to get the idea the sun is hitting this side. Lovely. A little bit more. That's too dark. Wanted to get some reflections, but maybe that's not going to work out. Let's just pick it up with a tissue and see. That's right. This does feel a little bit solid, so we'll just lift a little bit out, let a bit of air into it. There we are. More green. That's better. Was feeling a little bit too hard in the edge as well. Let that dry. Okay, just having a little look at it. I think I'm going to dry it all off again. I might go back in here just a little bit when it's dry, but otherwise I think it's doing what I wanted it to do. I've got the nice water reflecting that way. I've got some gorgeous teals and darks. I've got the lighter side, the darker side, the distance. And this is like a study for a bigger painting, which I'm quite excited about. So I'm just going to dry it off and then we'll have a final look. So here's the finished little study, and I quite like it. It's dry now. I've taken the tape off so you can see it fairly clean. I really like what's going on here. I really like how that worked out, and I really like these colours here. I like the lightness of the sky. This was a little bit heavy, I thought, but overall I think it's a really nice little study. I quite like this area too. And it's sort of intrigued me to do a bigger painting with a lot more sort of wet washes, bigger brushes, so that I don't get all these little marks, but some sort of big glowing event of this beautiful glacial water. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope to see you next time. Happy painting. Thank you very much.